So let us do a numerical on how to find out electric field due to a source charge. Now for a small revision, let us go to the previous class learning where we learned how to draw the electric field due to a source charge towards a point. Correct? So just for a revision, if the charge is positive, then the electric field is outwards from the charge to the point. Similarly, if the charge is negative, source charge is negative, then the electric field is from the point towards the charge, inwards. So this is outwards, this is inwards. So whenever there is a electric field question, you must remember the direction of the electric field because it is a vector quantity from the charge to the point. If the charge is positive, that is outwards from the charge, and from the point towards the charge, if the charge is negative, that is inwards, arrow is inwards towards the charge from the point. Okay, so this you have to remember as a by-hearted known concept. Now let us go to the question. Okay, so the question is 2 point charges of magnitude negative 10 raised to minus 8 coulomb are placed at the vertices A and B of an equilateral triangle ABC 0.1 meter apart. So these two charges are placed 0.1 meter apart. Fine. Find the electric field at the point C, M being the midpoint of AB. Now this figure was not given, is not given to you. So you just understand what they have given and then you proceed with the question. So first they have given us an equilateral triangle. So we drew an equilateral triangle ABC. Next, they told us that a negative 10 raised to minus 8 coulomb magnitude of charge is there on A also and B also. So we drew that also. They also gave us M is the midpoint of AB. We have drawn that also. Now they have given that they are 0.1 meters apart. It means that this length of AB is 0.1 meters. It is an equilateral triangle. So it automatically means 0.1 meter here also and 0.1 meter here also. That is the length of AC, and CB is 0.1 meter, and here also the length is 0.1 meter from A to B. So whenever a question with or without figure is given, first you should do its naming ceremony. So we have nearly completed 50% of its naming ceremony. Okay, what is naming ceremony? We must understand what is the question giving us and what is it asking from us. Now the next part of the question is find the electric field at the point C. So now we will go to the point C. Now as per this rule, charge is negative, that charge is also negative. So as per this rule, as per the remembrance, the electric field should go from the point to the negative charge. Point to the negative charge. So let us draw the electric field from the point to the negative charge. So point C towards the negative charge. We can stop halfway. Point to the negative charge. Similarly, this is also negative charge. So let us draw the direction of electric field from the point towards the negative charge. So let us name the directions which we have drawn as E1 and E2, where E1 you can give any name, but you have to write what name you have given. Remember that. Okay, where E1 is the electric field at the point C due to the charge at A. Similarly, E2 is the electric field, I'll just write it in short, at the point C again due to the charge at B. Okay, so these are the names given. Now, if these two are the directions of the electric fields due to these two charges, then what is the resultant? These two directions are again the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram. So to find out the net electric field at the charge C, we have to add the electric fields E1 and E2 vectorially such that we get the resultant using the parallelogram law of addition of vectors. So what is the direction? We got the direction of the electric field at E considering these two directions as the adjacent sides of a parallelogram such that their resultant is along the diagonal drawn through the vertex of these two directions. Fine. So we are ready with the directions. We know what we have to do. Find out E1, find out E2 magnitude and find out the resultant using the parallelogram law of addition of vectors. So for the resultant, we want the angle between these two vectors. What should be the angle between these two vectors? This is a equilateral triangle, so 60 degrees. So angle between these two vectors is 60 degrees. So let us find out E1 first. E1 formula K. Now while finding out the scalar magnitude, there is no need of writing the symbol minus, negative. There is no need. Okay, because already we have decided the direction. So E1 is equal to 10 raised to minus 8k divided by the distance 0.1 meter square. Here also we will write coulomb. That is 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square per coulomb square, which I have written the value of K as we have learnt, multiplied by 10 raised to minus 8 coulomb divided by 0.1 meter whole square. Calculation part, you have to be a little careful whenever powers are there. Only the best solution is calculate the powers separately and the number separately. So remember, while calculating such numbers with powers, take care of the powers first. I have repeated the powers. 10 raised to 9, 10 raised to minus 8 into, from here I take 10 raised to 2 upwards, and I also write the unit of electric field. Though I have written the other units, directly I can write Newton per coulomb. Fine. So I get 9 into 10 raised to 3 Newton per coulomb. That is E1. So I go to find out the magnitude E2. E2 also has the same magnitude as that of E1, as can be seen. Charge is same and the distance between the point and the charge is also same as before. So I just write E1 is equal to E2 here. Fine. Okay. Now the angle between E1 and E2, theta is equal to 60 degrees, as I have already explained. So the E magnitude of the electric field at the point C is equal to, from the resultant formula, E square or E1 square plus E2 square plus 2 E1 E2 cos 60. Now as can be seen, magnitudes are same. So let me write those magnitudes as x so that it will be easier. So that is equal to x square plus x square plus 2x into x cos 60, which is half. Fine. Okay. And under root. So what do I get? I get E is equal to 3x square, and under root if I take root 3x, that is fine. What was my x? Same value which is written here. So I get root 3 into 9. So I write 9 root 3 into 10 raised to 3 Newton per Coulomb is the electric field at the point C, and the direction of the electric field is CM, is the direction of the electric field at the point C. Fine. Okay. So here I have taken two principles. One is the principle of superposition, where I have added the electric field E1 and E2 due to both the charges, due to the directions taken there, and then according to the parallelogram law of adding vectors, I have found out the resultant using the resultant formula. First, E1 square plus E2 square plus 2E1 E2 cos 60 degree, where 60 degree is the angle between E1 and E2, and I have calculated the magnitude of E, which is 9 root 3 into 10 raised to 3 Newton per Coulomb, and the direction as seen from the diagram is straight from C towards M. So CM is the direction of the electric field at the point C. Now the same question was asked in this year's board paper 2025, but the values were not given. The values of the charges were just denoted as minus q, and only the direction part was asked. 1 mark multiple choice question it was. So any question can be converted into any way, but remember one format. To understand how to draw the direction from the point to the charge, or from the charge to the point, for the electric field of the source charge, then you will be able to solve any question. Fine. Now I will just move. You can take one screenshot of the numerical which is solved. Fine. Okay, so we have learned how to find out the electric field due to 3 charges at a point. Now we will also find out the electric field due to 4 charges at a point. So let us first read the question and understand what is given. Let us draw the figure and understand what is asked. Fine? Okay. Very coolly you handle every question. Then the others will follow automatically. So with a very cool head, you read the question, you understand the question. Fine? Okay. So now what are the magnitude and direction of the electric field at the center of a square? Now they have given a square to us, so we do a square. Okay, in the figure. So they are asking what is the magnitude and direction of the electric field. Where? At the center. Fine. So this is the center. So I have drawn one square ABCD and the center is O. Then they also gave us in the figure itself, this is the figure given to us. They have also given us the charges values, that is plus Q, minus 2Q, plus 2Q and minus Q. So whenever charges are given to us, your eyes should first go on its polarity, whether positive or whether negative. Only then you can decide what is the direction of the electric field from the source charges towards the point which is asked to us. So we have to first understand how many charges are there? 4. Where is the point? Center. What is the name of the point? O. And what are the name of the vertex? A, B, C, D. So let us first go to A. Now A has a positive charge. Don't worry about the magnitude. It is positive. That's it. So if it is positive, as per the rule, the electric field should go outwards radially towards the point. Let us name it as E. A. Fine. Direction is given, so I have written the vector. Okay. Now let us go to B. It is negative. So what should be the direction of the electric field for a negative source charge? Towards the charge, radially inwards from the point. So radially inwards from the point, I have drawn the arrow. What is the name? E, B. Name it. Name it according to what is given. Now let us go to C. The charge at C is positive. 2Q. Fine. Let it be 2 or let it be Q, but it is positive. So don't worry about the magnitude. Draw the direction of the electric field from the source charge at C. Because it is positive, we have to draw it radially outwards from the charge. Name it as EC. Correct? Now again for D, the charge is negative. So I have to go radially inwards towards the charge from the point ED. So now here you have seen, because this charge is positive radially outwards, this charge is also positive radially outwards from the source charge. This point is negative charge, so radially inwards towards the charge. Here also radially inwards towards the charge. Now we have two diagonals and we have to find out the resultant at the center. So finding out the resultant at the center means we have to understand what is the total electric field on this diagonal and on this diagonal. Then we will go to find out its magnitude and the direction of the resultant electric field. Now you can see these two are opposite of each other. See, one and this, they both are going opposite at O in opposite directions. So it is understood we have to subtract them. If they would be in the same direction, we would have added these two. Similarly, these two, EB and ED, they are going in opposite direction. So we have to subtract them. If they would go in the same direction, we would have added them. Fine. So to find out the distance between the charge and the center, let us use the Pythagoras theorem such that AC is equal to root of A square plus A square is equal to root of 2A. I have removed the root from there, and OA is half of AC, which is root 2A by 2, and then I get A upon root 2. So I write it here as A upon root 2. So that is the distance R between the point and the charge A or B or C or D. So let us find out the magnitude of EA, which is equal to K charge divided by distance square. So what is the charge here? Q. What is the distance? A upon root 2 square. According to the formula, E is equal to K Q upon R square, which we learned yesterday. Right? This is the charge and this is the distance. So inverting, reciprocating or reciprocal, taking the reciprocal of the denominator, I get KQ root 2 square, that is 2 upon A square. That is equal to 2KQ upon A square. That is EA. Similarly, let us find out EC, because I want the diagonal. So I am going directly to EC. EC is equal to K. What is the charge there? 2Q divided by A root 2 square. That is the distance square. So this is 2Q, this is Q. So same thing will be doubled. So it will be 4KQ A square. I am writing directly. Now you can see EC and EA magnitudes we have got, but EC and EA are in opposite direction. So their resultant, I will name it as E1, okay, which is equal to subtraction of EC and EA. So I subtract EC minus EA. Why did I subtract? Because both the directions are opposite to each other. So what is my EC? 4 KQ upon A square. And what is my EA? 2 KQ upon A square. Therefore, I get E1 magnitude is equal to 4 minus 2 KQ upon A square. I keep it here as equation number 1. That is the magnitude of E1. Similarly, let me calculate EB by same method, K. Neglecting the negative symbol there for the charge, again I will write 2Q upon A upon root 2 A square, which is equal to, as seen from here, same 4 KQ upon A square, and ED, that is on the diagonal, that is equal to K, neglecting again the negative symbol of the charge there, EQ upon A upon root 2 square, which is equal to, as calculated here, 2 KQ upon A square. As can be seen again in the figure, both these directions are opposite, so I have to subtract them. So let me name them, or name the resultant as EC, E2, sorry, E2. So if I name them as E2, then I can write EB minus ED, which is equal to, again I will get same value, 2 KQ upon A square. This is the equation number 2, where I have got E1 magnitude, E2 magnitude. Remember that. Okay. Now I have to again go to the figure that I have got the magnitude or the resultant of these two vectors at the point O. I also have got the resultant of these two vectors at the point O. So now I have to determine the direction of E1 and E2 from the figure. Magnitudes I am ready with, right? So let us go to the direction of E1, which was EC minus EA. So let us see, the value of EC is greater than EA as seen from here. EC is greater than EA. You can see EC greater than EA. So the resultant of EC and EA will be along EC. So this will be the direction of E1. Okay. Similarly, the direction of E2, as can be seen here, that E2 is EB minus ED. Magnitude of EB is greater than ED. Therefore, the direction of the resultant of EB and ED will be along EB because it is greater. Fine. Okay. So I have got the resultant of E2. Resultant E2's direction I have got. Now these are again the sides of a parallelogram. So what is the resultant? The resultant of these two vectors is along the diagonal. I name it as E. Okay, so how do I get E? And you can see the magnitudes also are same. E1 magnitude and E2 magnitude is same. Fine. So I can write it as X. So I have E vector on the center O as E1 plus E2. I have to add them vectorially, which I have added them. In the diagram, the angle between both the vectors theta is equal to 90 degree. That I shall substitute here. Let me write this as X and this also as X because the magnitudes are same. So I can write E magnitude, direction is ready there. E is equal to E1 square plus E2 square plus 2 E1 E2 cos 90. Cos 90 is 0, so I can just remove it off. So therefore I have E, that is the magnitude of the resultant vector, is equal to x square plus x square, as the magnitudes of E1 and E2 are same, so which is equal to root 2 x. What was x? X is equal to 2 kq upon a square. Fine. So this is the magnitude of E. Now we have to substitute q is equal to 10 raised to minus 8 and a is equal to 5 centimeters. So now we substitute the values of q and a from the given, where q is equal to 10 raised to minus 8 and the side a is equal to 5 centimeters, which is converted into meters here. Yeah, that is 5 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter square. And then we go ahead here. Always remember, powers have to be separated from the numbers. There are 3 numbers available there. 2 root 2 into 9 divided by 5 5 are 25. And the powers are 10 raised to 9, 10 raised to minus 8 and 10 raised to 4, where 10 raised to minus 2 square is inverted and written as 10 raised to 4. So calculating this value here, we get E is equal to 7.2 root 2 into 10 raised to 4 Newton per Coulomb is the magnitude of the electric field at the point O. Okay, and the direction of the electric field at the point O. Now you have to mention the direction. Okay, so if this is 90 degrees, then this is 45 degrees. So we can say that the direction of the electric field is 45 degrees from OA. Fine. This can be written as the direction of the electric field at the point O. Fine. Note it down and understand it. Do it again by yourself on a piece of paper so that you actually understand the concept. The concept is very, very clear. Find out the electric fields individually. Then on diagonal, find out the electric field E1. Diagonal again electric field E2. Their resultant using the parallelogram law of vector addition, where we get the magnitude of E and here we get the direction of E.